Hi, everybody, and welcome. Oh, desktop audio's off. I don't know why that happened. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. You can now hear the cast.
Hey.
Woo!
Um,
Hell
for us, it's literally the next day, but for you, it's been probably about 2 weeks since you saw us last. It might even be more than that. Well, not me or Allison, but the rest of them. But yeah. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. So, a few things before we get started. Once again, I am here to remind you about our merch in the store. If you are in any way a fan of Tomorrow is Dead, you should check out our merch right here on screen, designed by Bree, which it's a nice little collage of season one items and little Easter eggs and things like that. I
It's got
think
the traffic cone.
it's got the traffic cone. It's very cool. I'm very excited that we have these in the store. So we've literally been talking about them since season one was ending, and it was too late to do anything about it at the time. But so we've got it now. We have it, and you can have it too. The links for the merch store are in chat right now probably, and also if you're watching on YouTube in the description. So go check it out. Go get you one, or two, or five. The world is your oyster.
Buy them for all your friends.
Buy them for all your
presents.
Absolutely,
present.
Christmas presents. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time this airs, that'll be coming up.
Yeah.
Spookmas.
Genuinely, it's super cool design, regardless of whether or not you watched Tomorrow is Dead season 1.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They don't even need to know the show.
I
it's
just
a badass
realized I
t-shirt.
forgot to switch Freeman and Scriv on screen, and so you're the only two of you who are in the wrong spot. I just
All right,
I'm
Freeman,
Frankie
that.
now.
I'm Gabby now. Okay.
All right, give me 1 second.
Swap.
John, if you wanna riff this one for a second while I fix this.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what our other announcements are because this is in the distant past. But there's probably Ramblemancy this week, and you should come to that because it's always a good time when we're hanging out and being nerds around here. And in general, if you want to keep up with other announcements about the show, merchandise, things like that, you should join our Discord. That link is probably also going to be in the chat right now. We have fun community nights in there every so often where we hang out and play games, often zombie themed. And our LFG channel at Discord's been getting a lot of traffic lately. Lots of folks organizing little actual play appearances and their own games and stuff in there. So if you like playing tabletop RPGs, our Discord's a great place to be.
Who
And if you don't like playing tabletop
Really?
RPGs, I don't know why you're here. Are you confused? Are you lost? We're happy to have you.
We're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here.
Pull up a chair for a wholesome night of family fun. It's all hugs and love and rainbows from this point
Sweet.
forward, folks.
Griv, you got to turn off the Tattered Bear copywriting brain.
Oh my god. Okay, if for whatever reason you're here because you've somehow been lured in by my family-friendly stuff, I'm so sorry. All the content
be-
warnings. I'm just like an extra with this cool crew here, but
Yeah.
this is not family-friendly. No.
Not at
No.
It's not.
This isn't the
Um,
Scriv, you know.
This is Scriv
This is
after
Scriv
dark.
after dark.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
This is Mirror Universe Scriv with the funny
Yeah.
mustache.
This is Scurv. This is Scurv.
I
In your
was
oranges.
not emotionally prepared for that.
Welcome back, Allison. Did you miss us?
Please purchase a T-shirt from the merch store so that we can get Scriv a steady supply of oranges to help
my
with
God.
I love oranges.
to help with their condition.
I do have a condition. It's chronic. Anyway,
Oh my goodness.
am I Gabby again?
Oh my
Oh, I
god.
did not know I just entered Ramblemancy. Oh my goodness.
There is an
Yeah.
energy in the studio today.
This is a little sneak preview of what Ramblemancy's like. If you've never watched Ramblemancy, it's kind of like this. Um, some quick things. As I've mentioned in on previous episodes, and you're probably sick of hearing by now, it's not been a great year for Rule of Lore, and we have several upcoming upkeep costs that need to be covered. So if you feel so moved to do so, any support that you could send our way would be extremely helpful and would make my Lucas's holiday season a little less stressful, and I would appreciate it very much.
Oh.
So yeah, the best ways to do that is on our Patreon, where you can get some cool, fun little like additional stuff that you can either introduce into your own TTRPGs or some media recommendations for things that we ourselves have personally been into recently. Also, subscribing right here on Twitch, very, very helpful. If you are so moved to throw some bits around, please do that. There's all kinds of links all over the place. They are probably currently in the chat, and if you're on YouTube, they're in the description, like everything else. Yeah, that's what I got. So, guys,
All right. Great show, everybody.
Yeah,
we'll
there's
wrap it
nothing
up there.
Yeah, that's the end of the show. There's nothing else that we need to. All right, we're gonna just jump right into this. We'll see you in just a second. And we are back. On our when last you were here with this specific group, I just realized it's so weird filming this out of sequence because I just realized how actually important the recap is for this specific episode.
Yes. Yes.
So previously, on Tomorrow is Dead, the group of survivors in exile after the fall of their haven went in search of a bunker that belonged to a pre-fall, basically a prepper cult that built this bunker into the mountains, into the mountains of Colorado, the Rocky Mountains. And rumors had reached Maisel and Shaw of this place just prior to the fall of their haven. And after the destruction of their safe place, they set out in search of a desperate plan to find somewhere to winter, as that is rapidly approaching, and winter in the mountains is a rough time. This one promising to be a rougher one than usual. Along the way, which brings us to the previous episode, where along the way, those who had sustained injuries from the escape found themselves in need of desperate medical attention and supplies. Some tense negotiations with another group that they encountered on the road resulted in, they found the medicine that they needed, although it wasn't as a result of the negotiations, but it did result in potentially a new enemy lurking in the background. But for the most part, everyone escaped unscathed, medicine in tow, and a brand new vehicle that allowed them to reach their destination much faster than they had anticipated. Upon arrival to their destination, the group encountered another group of survivors who were also in search of this same bunker. And after a brief moment of conversation, this particular interaction with a different group went a lot smoother than the previous one, and Maisel managed to basically get them all to agree to work together and share the bunker for the winter. At that exact moment, the scout from the other group returned, revealing in a sort of dramatic moment that Kit, their good friend, was in fact alive, which is where we will be starting right now. So, James kind of the of the other group, James turns and says, "Oh, here's our scout now." Kit, you hear voices from up ahead as you sort of like are pushing through bushes, coming back to where you left the group. And as you approach, you see a vehicle, a sort of short shuttle bus that has some sort of corrugated metal sort of bolted to the side and for armor, parked with sort of idling with its headlights on, illuminating James, Anita, and Valerie, who are sort of standing facing another group of people. Cautiously, you sort of walk forward and you sort of step into kind of the beam of the headlight as you kind of put your hood down a little and sort of like to kind of better get a scope of the situation. It doesn't appear hostile as far as you can tell. The posture of both your group and the newcomers is pretty relaxed. As you step up, you kind of look and you freeze. In front of you, you see older, a little more battered, an expression that is alien to you on her face, but it is unmistakably Maisel. Next to her, Casey. You kind of glance over at the bus and you can see sort of sitting on top of the bus, sort of through a hatch in the top, you see unmistakably Gabby. And there's a moment as that starts kind of crashing down on you. And you just... Next thing you know, you feel your feet moving under you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm running.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. I'm off to the side somewhere. Mm-hmm. Not here. Just not here.
Yeah. You hear vaguely behind you shouts, but the words don't make sense to you as you're just running. You run. You're not even sure how long. As everything is just like the world has basically just turned into a blur around you. But the next time you are in any way even vaguely aware of your surroundings, you are on the ground, crouching. Something sturdy and rough, kind of behind you, at your back.
Mm-hmm. I reach in my pack and I pull something out and I'm just like clutching it and I'm just like muttering to myself a little bit.
And Frankie was behind the bus, if I'm not mistaken, and saw this take place and is going to have sorry. Were you
No, you're good.
Clutching and doing so? Okay. I just want to put out there that I think Frankie is going to freeze for a moment, but is going to find the strength to like run after Kit. And however long that takes, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, you don't have to go far. I'll say the way that this plays out is from your perspective, Frankie. You saw a figure sort of move from your perspective behind the bus. You saw a figure sort of step out of the shadows, and step into the beam of headlights. And as soon as that hood came down, you saw Kit, and you recognize what she was about to do a second before she did it, and as she just takes off running, you're not far behind. You it doesn't take you as you run past the group, you hear the leader James go, Farah, what the hell? Where are you? And but you kind of run past that as you it's not far. Kit doesn't go far. You find her just a little ways up the old hiking trail. Just crouched down at the root of a tree, her back to it, clutching something in her hand, just sort of up to her mouth and just sort of muttering.
Sorry, what did James say?
He yelled, Farah.
Not. Oh, you're not. You're not.
Kit?
You're not. No. No.
Frankie, you know, as you kind of get a little closer in the gloom of the rapidly approaching nightfall, you see that the thing that she's holding is a damaged walkie-talkie.
You're not
Kit.
here. You can't. No, you're. Shut up.
Frankie will kind of crouch within eyesight of you next to you and just kind of try to make eye contact with you, like doesn't want to, and is going to just gently put his hand on your shoulder.
Immediately pulls away.
Frankie.
You're Frankie.
Mm-hmm. That's...
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Me.
No. No. You. No. That's. No, because if. No. I don't. You're not real. No, you're not. You're not real.
I am
No.
still here. And apparently you are too. How? Sorry.
I don't want to. They don't. I can't. You're not.
I am.
You can't be here.
I am, and sorry.
I don't. I tucked the walkie back into my pocket and I. Fuck. Oh, okay. I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
You can't be here.
I think there's you mean, what do you mean?
You're not.
I think there's room enough in that bunker for 2 groups.
I'm gonna reach out and literally just like poke him in the shoulder,
You,
just to make sure he's real.
He feels solid. Feels as real as the tree behind you.
I still have the pocket knife, and Frankie kind of reaches in his pocket slowly and pulls it out, and just kind of just open-handed with it in his palm. Pretty slick of you. Can't say I appreciated it much, but
Oh well, I'm usually pretty good at not being noticed, so
shut up.
I'm gonna hug him. Like,
Frankie hugs you back. What the fuck?
I don't. You were all gone. I don't.
We missed you.
They can't know that you guys know me. Because when people know, then. Fuck.
You hear a twig snap nearby. Frankie, you turn and you see the woman Anita, like walking, like holding the hunting rifle at the ready, but not like up, as she's sort of standing there looking. Goes, Farah, are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, thought I was hearing things again. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Goes,
I'm fine.
Don't be. Just making sure. You know these people?
No.
She sort of like looks between the two of you, doesn't entirely seem convinced, but she stays back like a respectful distance, but like it makes it very clear through her body language that she's not gonna leave.
I was hearing things again. I'm sorry. I'm fine.
She looks at
going
you.
on?
She looks at you, Frankie, and just says, "Hey, maybe a little bit of distance."
You're the one with the gun.
She says, "You feeling like maybe we can join everybody else?"
Feeling like telling me what's going on?
These people just kind of showed up. They're here for the bunker too. James looks like he's, at least he was, pretty inclined to work together. Now we're not sure.
It was the fucking I pull the walkie out and I show it to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
She nods, says, okay. Okay. She just kind of like, she relaxes a little bit. She says, we can take as long as you need, but James won't budge an inch without your input.
I'm fine. Let's go.
Frankie holds back a little bit and just kind of lets them walk off,
Yeah.
and just kind of standing in the middle of the woods for a little bit.
While that was all happening, jumping back to, like, you see Kit run, Maisel. You see Frankie right after her. And then James just sort of looks at Anita and goes, yeah, make sure she's okay. And Anita turns to go. And James just sort of holds out a hand to you, Maisel, and says, okay, I don't know what's happening here. Do you know each other? What's happening?
Like, at literally the moment, like, Kit appeared, like, Maisel's, like, facade of just, like, having it together broke. And is, like, her, like, her knees went weak, and is, like, unless Casey, like, catches her, she's gonna fall to the ground.
I was gonna say Casey like slips an arm under hers and just like, hey, deep breath.
I don't,
That was like Casey sort of says it in a low voice. It's like you just saw Kit too, right? I'm not hallucinating.
Yeah, that's Kit. 100% that's Kit. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
That's not a ghost? That
No,
wasn't a ghost?
Yeah, I saw her too.
There are ghosts now? There could be ghosts. I don't know.
It was her. Why else
So-
would Frankie have run? What
Sorry.
did you call her?
He says,
I'm coming down from the top.
yeah, he looks
What did
over
you
at
call her?
Farah. That's Farah, our scout.
Farah?
Farah?
Her name's Farah?
That's the name she gave us, yeah.
Okay.
Before we met, we knew her by a bunch of different names, mostly through reputation.
What? Okay. Shaw, Shaw, I need help.
Yeah. You immediately, like, Shaw comes out, like, he has, like, his assault rifle ready, like, at the ready. He, like, comes out. You just from one glance at his face, you can tell that he saw Kit as well. And he has a very haunted look on his face as he comes out. As soon as he comes out, Valerie, like, sort of draws the bow a little bit, and he goes, "Whoa, hey."
I'll put an arm out and like gently lower Shaw's gun.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
This is
I'm like Casey is like lowering Maisel to the ground so that she is seated.
Yeah. Shaw comes over. James just goes, all right, I don't know what's happening, but it's clear you guys something's going on here. I can give you a minute, but
yeah.
I'm not making any decisions until she comes back.
That's
fair.
That's fair. That's fine. Whether or not it is somebody that we know, she's a dead ringer for somebody that we used to know. So
Okay.
I guess we'll see.
He backs off. Says, Val, come on. The two of them sort of retreat back to the rest of the group that's still, like, kind of in cover. They kind of pull back a little bit.
Maisel's just kind of losing it on the ground.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now I think I am gonna make you do that thing that I haven't been making
Yeah.
you do.
Maisel's just kind of losing it.
Hold on. Let me see. I already forgot what page that was on, but I believe. There it is. I found it. All right. I need you to make a roll here, Maisel, and I think
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is in a second as soon as I find it. Um, you need to. You can roll as many dice as either your wits or empathy allow. Your choice.
Okay.
Add +2 for each anchor who is still alive and on your side.
Okay.
Casey, like
Casey
has
and
Literally,
Shaw are
they're on
both
either
there.
side of you. They are like.
They're both here.
Casey has like
Flanked.
stepped around in front of you and is like taking your face in her hands. Is like, hey,
It's a Maisel sandwich
like,
Rubbing my back, like, all right.
with extra onions.
Okay, so that's 8 dice then.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's 4. Either with or empathy, it's 4, and then
Mm-hmm.
+2 for everybody. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And is it the same like successes and all that stuff?
Yeah. It works the same way. So you just let me know what successes you need. You don't add stress dice to this, so
Cool.
yeah.
I don't think I have stress technically, but I could. You want to give me stress?
I think I'm gonna give all of you stress, but I'm not going to. You don't add it to this roll.
Well, you're gonna be very happy. Not a single success.
That's kind of what I was figuring. Okay. Well.
Not a single success out of
Okay.
8 dice.
Okay. So here is what happens. Hold on.
I did roll a 1. And a 5 and a 4 and a 4 and a 3 and a 3 and a 2 and a
So-
3.
What it says, because this is what I rolled now. It says your issue changes, or you gain another one.
Collect them all.
Okay.
I will leave that up to you.
Okay.
To decide as depending on like how that, like how you feel it might affect your current issue or might just add on top of it. So I will leave that to you.
Cool. I'm gonna go find the issue chart real quick, but keep going.
Layers. Layer it on there.
Yeah.
Double-decker sandwich.
And you don't have to go with the ones that are in there. You can just make up one that you think makes sense for you in this moment. But
Sure.
but anyway, as like Casey, you're just sort of like holding Maisel's face, and Shaw is just kind of like just sort of awkwardly rubbing her back. He just like looks at you and just says, "What the fuck is happening?"
I don't know. She looked like Kit. She sounded like Kit. I mean, we all look like shit. The last 3 years have sucked. I swear to God, it was Kit.
Yeah, I didn't have as good of a view from inside, but that's what I thought I saw too.
Glad I'm. This would be the most fucked up dream I think I've ever had. So I'm glad it's not one of those. I hope. How was Casey just starts and stops several sentences and then just like kind of puts it aside. As Maisel is clearly having a real bad time here.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit of a panic. A little bit of a panic. It's like a panic attack while also like just laughing. Like it's like fully just gone. Just gone.
Like I think like Casey will just kind of slip an arm under hers again and like will prop her up onto the steps of the bus so that she's kind of like not just sitting on the ground in front of it like everybody, and then I think Casey's just holding her as close as Maisel will allow.
Yeah. Maisel's pretty unresponsive. I will just say for right now, like, so I don't have to act it out. Maisel's pretty unresponsive of just kind of like muttering and just kind of like laughing and just it seems as though like has just not quite doesn't quite know it's just not there. Like it's just not there. You can like hold her and lead her and she will like follow you, but it's just like isn't making any moves or choices or like pushing people away or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Casey just stays close and you know it's just sort of like a broken record of like, you know, it's okay. I'm like, I'm right here. It's gonna be okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll figure this out.
Okay.
Take deep breaths. Like
What's Gabby doing at this point?
Gabby is feeling a bit protective of her friends. And I'm going, since they're kind of sitting on the steps of the bus, I want to kind of a little bit more in front of, like, between them and this group.
Mm-hmm.
Because we still don't know them. And, you
Yeah.
know, just because people smile and they want to shake hands doesn't mean they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of repeating under my breath, Farah. Farah? No.
can
Yes? No. And I'm staring. I'm not even looking and acknowledging these people. I'm like physically in front of them, but I am staring at those woods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you said
can
she's coming, and I'll kind of be muttering, sort of like to them, but distracted. She's coming back. Are you sure she's coming back?
James sort of like looks at you, goes, She always does.
Huh. Okay.
um can Casey make like a medicine roll here or like an empathy roll to try and like calm Maisel down or like help in any way?
I think that right now Casey is doing basically everything that she can. Just, yeah. I don't know that there's much more that Casey can do other than be present, but yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna say though that like several minutes go by, as you know, their group and yours sort of kind of regroups a bit. Um, before the three figures kind of return from the trailhead, um, and you see Frankie, you see Anita, and you see Kit coming down the trail, back towards the sort of parking area. Um, James immediately stands up as they are coming from where he was crouched talking to the others. And there, as the two of you and Anita are coming out, James sort of walks up and says, "Everything okay?"
I'm fine. I'm sorry. I was hearing things and then seeing things. Well, I wasn't expecting.
It's okay. I figured that, you know, the I was worried that the sudden appearance of strangers in your absence would be a bit of a shock. So
Yeah,
yeah,
imagine
okay.
that.
Do we hear what he's saying?
Probably not.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
I just needed to know if we heard him call us strangers.
yeah. No, only Frankie is I think close enough to hear any of this. So,
Okay.
um, she says, um, before you showed up, before you got back, I was talking with them. They're here for the bunker too, and I don't know. They seem like I've gotten a I don't have any bad feelings about any of them, and I was about to agree to uh, a helping each other out, clearing that place in exchange for sharing for the winter. It's a big place from everything that we know. Probably would never really even have to interact if we didn't need to.
Can I see the group over by the bus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can see a couple of them. Like, it's hard to see right now because the headlights are still on and sort of, you know, but you can see a group huddled down in front of the bus, and one figure that even just silhouetted you can recognize as Gabby standing a little closer to your group.
I've shifted even a little bit more in front of the other two. Because I still hear a breakdown in progress behind me.
I am going to move towards the group, back towards Maisel and whatnot, and just kind of give like a glance to Farah / Kit. Just like a knowing glance, and then just like walk towards them.
I'm going to try to meet your eye, Frankie, and get some sort of sense. What the fuck? And you know, did you talk? Does she know it's us? Is it her? However much I can say with not just
I'm gonna look back to James
okay.
and nod. Think you can trust him?
He kind of glances over in that direction a little bit and says, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'd like to, before I make any hard decisions, I think I'd like to meet the rest of them, the ones still on the bus, and just get a sense of everybody. But from what I saw, they just seem like, well, they seem like us. Anita just sort of like looks at James. This is a conversation that they've had numerous times, and she just kind of like gives him like a very like skeptical look, and he looks at her and says, "Something to say?" She says, "Yeah, because you know, trusting people has worked out really well for us every other time we've done it." And James nods. He says, "It's fair."
You talk
But
to the people on the bus. I'll talk to some of the other ones. We'll regroup.
he nods. He says to Anita, he he nods to you, and then he says to Anita, "You didn't see what I saw, did you?" She frowns at him. He says, "Almost missed it, but when they were pulling up, they've got kids in the bus." And she goes, "So?" He says, "So, if they were a raiding party, they probably wouldn't have them." She seems unconvinced, but like nevertheless just sort of like exhales and just sort of, "I hope you're right." That makes two of us. Um so the rest of you, you, Gabby, you see they finish up whatever conversation they're having over there, and you see James kind of walking back, this time by himself. And he looks at you, Gabby, and says, "I apologize. Our scout gets a little, well, she gets spooked sometimes pretty easily. So you just spooked her. That's all. She wasn't expecting to come back to more people than she left. So.
I don't think she was the only one that was spooked, but
That's fair.
understandable.
That's fair. And
Is that why she ran?
yeah, it's happened before. So.
Is she okay?
As okay as anyone living in this can be. If it's all right with you, I would like for maybe a more formal meeting of our groups. Maybe we get to know each other a little bit more. See if
You
we can
have
work
somewhere
together.
safe? That sun is setting pretty quickly.
By this point, it's basically full dusk. Like it's
Never
barely
mind.
lit. Yeah, mostly the light that there is coming from the bus itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and he says,
Do you have
Yeah.
somewhere where we can meet? I don't know how formal we can be.
I understand. He kind of gestures over. He says, "Best we've got really is just kind of up this way. There's a." He kind of gestures up the trail a little bit. He says, "We have a well, a little spot that we've managed to fortify a little. We have a camp.
It's not far.
No, it's basically just a
We
little
have
way.
some people who can't move too quickly right now. So I'd rather not move the whole group
I
if
understand.
it's a trek.
It's no. It's right here. It was an old picnic area, so it's not far away.
Yeah, I think like as
I'm gonna
Casey,
look back to you, Casey, and Shaw and Maisel.
yeah, I think Casey's been listening to this and just like still like arm kind of around Maisel. Like I think Casey's yeah, that's glances over at Shaw. I think we just those that are able to make the trek up to camp can meet them all there. We have 2 injured in the bus. I think we'll leave them here probably with a guard or 2.
If it makes you feel any better, not a whole lot of trail authorities these days who are going to object to you driving up the trail a little bit. It's wide enough that you should be able to do it.
I was
That
just
might
going to
be
ask
preferable.
because I don't want to leave this thing on the road. We the folks we took it from aren't going to be too well. They find us with it.
He, at that, kind of cocks his head a little bit and says, okay. Well,
I heard
So let's get
Maisel
off the
mention.
trail.
Yeah, I heard Maisel mention Salita. There's a raiding party, a nasty one down there. They, from the sounds of it, they just about killed a good chunk of us.
okay. Well, we'll have, guess we'll have plenty to talk about when we get back to camp.
Listen, everybody's got a hell of a story these days, you know.
Wish I didn't. He says, "Well, he says, I'll have Valerie waiting for you. I'm gonna take the rest of my people to camp. She'll be waiting as soon as lead you there as soon as you're ready. Give you a chance to explain things to your people."
Sounds good. Is your scout all right?
He nods. Says, "Actually, at this point, I'm gonna have him do a quick thing. Enough people have asked."
Everyone's asking all these questions.
I was asking about this.
Why do they care?
Enough people have
You're so
asked now
nosy.
that it's time
Yep.
for him to make a quick little check. Okay. He hesitates, Casey, and he kind of nods. He says, I'm hoping that she'll be fine. Thanks for your
Sure.
concern."
Yeah. Everyone's a bit skittish these days.
He doesn't say anything else. He just nods to you and turns back to the rest of the group. And you see as they approach him, they all finally come out of cover and follow him up the trail. The older woman, Valerie, just sort of stays kind of posted up next to the trail, just kind of waiting.
I think Casey's just gonna like squeeze Maisel and just like she'll say like, "I'll be right back." Okay.
Okay. Maisel's calming down, is like out of hysterics at this point, but this isn't like is now at that point where it's like I need to be better. I need to get better. I can't get better. I need to get better. I can't get better. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Just in that loop.
Casey's
I'll
gonna.
step in and like help Maisel up if you were gonna step away.
Yeah, I think like I think Casey would see like Gabby step, and I think she'll kind of help Maisel to her feet, and then look over at Gabby and be like, "You get her
I got
settled."
her.
And
I got her.
one more shoulder squeeze, and then Casey's gonna take the couple steps up into the bus and say, "All right, so there's another group here. They seem all right. Maybe a half a dozen of them that we've seen so far. They don't seem like raiders. We're gonna drive the bus up the trailhead a little bit, meet the rest of them, talk it out tonight, and then we're talking about sharing the bunker for the winter. There's plenty of space in there. Hopefully, lots of supplies, and we could use the help clearing it out. Obviously, be on your guard always, but I think things are all right for now."
Hall, who has like her rifle, she's sort of cradling her rifle, just sort of across, sort of casually, just sort of across her chest in her seat, just sort of like raises one hand. She says, "I feel like I have to say it. Are we sure about this?"
No, but don't have a lot of other great options unless we want to start a shootout.
She kind of like looks over. She like looks out the windshield in like in the direction that the other group disappeared, and you can see on her face that she is genuinely considering that. Not so much in the sense that she's like, we should do it, but more in the sense like she's evaluating like whether or not that would even
She's
be
my
a viable
favorite.
option.
She's my favorite NPC.
This one. She's great.
I love this
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, she's kind of like thinking that over, and then she looks at you and just says, "I can assume that you think that's not really an option, then."
I listen. There's been a lot of shooting already today.
Probably going to be a lot more before too long.
Well, let's hope it's not at these people.
I won't hold my breath. All right.
I think Casey had asked Kai to drive the to drive the bus up the trail, and I think loud enough so that Hall can hear it, nice and slow. And then Hall, Shaw, you want to keep an eye out? Frankie, maybe you too.
Shaw nods, says, "I'll go on foot."
I'll probably go on foot as well after helping Maisel onto the bus. And hoping I even caught like a little snippet of what Hall said. I'll reach and take one of my remaining grenades and hand it to her. And say, "You don't have to pick my pocket next time."
Hall just sort of holds it and just sort of. She just sort of like puts
There
it
you
away.
go.
Yeah.
I'm before I leave to also go on foot, I'm gonna like give Maisel, without saying a damn thing, give Maisel a huge hug. Like one of those crushing kind of hugs.
Basil doesn't resist, but afterwards you can kind of tell it that did help. She's like,
Oh.
and just looks at you, just says thanks silently.
Yeah.
We gotta get you a weighted blanket.
I need like a shock, like.
If the pressure
like
helps.
speaking of, like, Casey slides into the seat as Gabby steps
Yep.
away and just like pulls an arm around Maisel, and I
Yeah.
think just kind of like
We're
waits.
keeping like positive contact between the two of us right now, like just hand over the precious cargo.
Everyone needs to touch me.
I
Everyone
think
touch me.
I'm also, before walking out, I don't know, Frankie, are you going on foot or are you staying on the bus?
I don't know. I feel like I've been on the bus all day.
Yeah.
I think I'll be on foot too, honestly.
I kind of want to check in while we walk.
All right.
Okay. So as
Absolutely.
Valerie sort of like gestures over as it's clear the bus is ready to get moving and going up the trail. The bus sort of slowly going, and Shaw sort of walking with Valerie, sort of talking with her a little bit. The two of you sort of like fall back kind of behind the bus a little bit as it's a little slow going because they have to like navigate a trail that wasn't designed for vehicles to be traveling.
at night.
At night, yeah. You the two of you kind of fall back a little bit behind the bus, and you have relative privacy at this point.
We're not hallucinating, are we?
I know I'm not.
Did you talk to her? Did you catch her?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask if you're okay because I don't think any of us are. What are you feeling right now? What's your read on this? Does she know us? Did she know you?
Yes and no. I don't know what the angle is here, but feel like we might need to tread carefully. That is Kit.
Why did she run away from us? I don't understand.
I don't either. Not fully. She was saying that she was muttering. She just doesn't believe that we can exist. And she was holding on to... Well, I don't know if that means anything. I'm still trying to mull it over. I'm just as shocked as you are.
What was she holding on to?
A walkie-talkie.
At that point, Gabby's gonna choke a little bit and then just kind of... I think all those tears that they've been holding up, that she's been holding up for the past several days, are now gonna come out and just walk in silence now.
Okay. I think we're gonna cut ahead a little bit to arriving at the camp. You can see basically what you've got here is just like one of those like basically like a picnic area where there is like a roof that's just sort of like set over a like concrete pad. Where there would have been probably numerous picnic tables and things like that. There's like partial walls, like just sort of like encompassing like the corners, which cover about 2/3 of each side. You see where like many of the entrances they basically, it seems like they've taken a lot of the picnic tables that were in there and like turned them up on end to sort of like make barricades. And things like that, sort of makeshift barricades. It's not the most secure shelter in the world, but it will certainly buy some time, and at the very least it'll shelter from any sort of mountain winds that might hit in the middle of the night. When you arrive, there is already a campfire kind of in the center that is crackling. And yeah, as you pull up the bus, you're able to see the rest of the other group is gathered around, and as you and your group sort of disembark from the bus, introductions are made sort of across the groups. From what you can gather, just real like at a glance, James, Anita, and Valerie seem to be kind of like the main kind of leadership of this group, or at least the people that everybody looks to. James in particular. I'll say that as you are stepping in, where in this sort of in it's not a large area, but like where would Kit be?
I think I was kind of going for the angle of I was going to help James interrogate people.
Sure.
So I think I'm up near him.
Okay. He after like the initial introductions are made, James sort of like looks to Maisel.
Yeah, I'm
and-
at this
yeah.
point. Yeah, Maisel. After the bus ride, after that, it's just kind of basically is just did the whole just compacted everything and is just
Like, I think
just I'm here to do my job and then we'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
before you get off the bus, like I think when we stop at the camp, Casey would look at Maze and be like, "Are you ready to go out there?"
I got to.
Okay. You can talk about it later.
Yes.
I'm right here if you need me.
Thanks. And she'll just walk away.
Okay. So James will look to you, Maisel, and says, "I think the best thing we can do right now to see if this is something that's viable. You feel free to talk to my people, and if it's all right with you, I would like to meet and get a sense of your people and see if there's something if this is something we can do, if we can work together."
Sure. I understand the wariness. It has not been an easy 24 hours for us, or last 5 days.
He
So,
like glances over where Kai is helping Demian sort of to a spot by the fire, and to like Nick's like swollen face, and he just sort of nods. He says, "I understand. We've been through our fair share of hardship on the way here as well."
yeah. It's particularly fresh for a few of us for a lot of things, so I apologize if anything it ruffles feathers. I am interested in making this work and getting to making a mutually beneficial agreement to put my entire intention on the table. So,
Likewise. Says, and of course, if it turns out, well, if it turns out that we can't work together, then, well, then we'll just figure it out when we get there.
yeah. The least lives lost is always my goal.
He nods. And with that, you're kind of able to go around and, I don't know that it's 100% necessary to like go through like individual like conversations with like NPCs and things like that. But if there's anything specifically that y'all want to be doing during this time, yeah, go ahead, Allison.
I'm gonna turn to James and say, "So who have you talked to?"
He says, "Well, I've spoken with Maisel, who he kind of gestures. Maisel, who appears to be their sort of leader. Says I've spoken with," kind of frowns. I think he kind of points. I think Gabby is the name that they gave me. He says, not many others yet. He says, I was about to go speak with our injured fellow over there.
I'll start with them then, so we're not doubling up.
He nods. He says, all right. He gives you a quick smile, and then heads off to the fire.
I'm gonna head toward Maisel.
Oh god. Basil at this point is after that whole thing is also talking to like just kind of is deciding to talk to just introduce to Valerie and Anita because they're the other two, and just sort of talk to them, and then it looked as though they were going to like just like James talking to other people is sort of making rounds and just introducing herself. To everybody.
Casey is kind of flitting along with her, I think. Like she's stowed it because Maisel is doing her job, but Casey's worried about her.
Before we get to that immediately, I'm gonna cut over Frankie as you're kind of sort of standing nearby watching all of this. Camilla walks up to you, and she just sort of shoulders you a little bit and says, "So, what do you think?"
Be more, what do you... I don't know how to...
She just shrugs and says, "They don't look like they have all that much. I was talking to that guy over there, Greg, or Jim. I don't know. I wasn't really listening. But she says, from what I heard, this Anita person over here is sort of my counterpart in their group. I was thinking about talking to them, coordinating resources, see what's what."
Yep, and you know the drill. Just let me know what you need.
Always. She kind of like gives you a look, says, "You look more haunted than usual." Says,
Thanks. You look good too.
she kind of grins, says, "Okay." She says, "Okay, you can feel free to keep doing this whole tall, mysterious guy in the background routine, and I'm gonna go talk to this person about inventory. It'll be real fun. Highlight of my day."
I'll listen. I'll be listening in from a distance.
Sure thing. And she says, "Hey,
Called out.
you get some rest when you can, okay? I know you're not going to, but you should."
Thank you.
And she says, "And please, I know that it's kind of your whole thing, but maybe before you decide to just sort of fuck off and go wandering, maybe don't. Not just yet."
Oh, I don't really feel like wandering just yet, actually.
Well, that's a refreshing change of pace. She kind of like...
Damn, Camilla.
I adore Camilla.
Yeah.
All these adultier adults. Ooh.
Whoa.
She gives you another grin and then just goes up, says, "Hey, are you Anita?" And then just starts coordinating. And
I'm gonna exchange a glance with Anita, like, as they walk away.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of gives you a nod, and then, yeah. Kit, you walk up to where Casey and Maisel are sort of, have just sort of finished speaking with a member of the group. And Maisel and Casey, as you turn to kind of like look for another person to talk to, you see Kit walking up to you.
Is there anyone else within earshot?
It's pretty close quarters everywhere here. I mean, like, it's a larger sort of picnic area, like, but it's not, it's not 100%. You could find a spot that would be, a little more secluded. The buzz of conversation under here would probably cover a lot.
I think as I walk up, I just kind of loudly say, "So I hear you're in charge. Talk."
I'm Maisel. We've been on the road for a few days. We've been escaping our fallen haven. That would happen at the beginning of the month. And, just recently came into possession of this lovely bus, breaking out of a raider stronghold. That's sort of our story and why we're here looking for a bunker to be safe in the winter. That's sort of the basic spiel. That's what I got at this current moment. I hear that you're a scout. What's that like?
I'll show you. Walk with me. I'm just gonna try to usher them off to a corner a little bit more secluded.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Casey would be saying you said y'all had fortified this place. Do you mind showing us around a little bit?
Yeah. So you managed to kind of find yourself in a more sort of secluded corner of this whole thing, a little further away from the fire.
I think as I start walking, I'm just like, "Name's Farah." And then as we get further away, I'm just like, "For that, it was Maddie. For that, it was Anley, and I forget what I said the time before that."
I've got a lot of questions, but I think I'm just gonna start with our Kit, right?
Before that, it was Catherine, but yeah.
Fuck you. And then I think Casey's gonna go in for a hug if she'll let her.
Not here.
Sorry. Yeah. I get it. I'm glad you're not dead.
Okay.
What are we allowed
No.
to say?
Just don't tell them what happened to me.
You.
Specifically. The part where you got bit. Okay.
What?
I'm fine. I'll figure out. Obviously, they're gonna figure out that I know you guys, so. Fuck.
We did immediately when you, I will say, immediately when you, came into light, I did, fall to the ground and cry, so, it's hard to, immediate reactions are hard to miss.
We can make up some convincing shit.
Fine, I'll talk to James. I'll figure some shit out. Just
It-
whatever.
I just told him that you were the last time I saw you, but I just told him that you were a dead ringer for somebody that we used to know. It's dark, so
Still true.
there's one thing I'm good at. It's bullshitting. So
don't say anything about that. I'll figure something out. I'll talk to James. Pretty sure he's figured it out anyway, so... I just gotta say something before shit gets out of hand, you know?
I mean, we can just keep it vague. We...
I mean, whatever you say, I'd appreciate it if it's in the favor of us being able to work something out. We have nowhere to go. You can tell that Basil's like, there was a moment where, like, she could have gotten vulnerable and has, like, been, like, is a cage right now.
Is this how we're gonna do this?
What do you mean?
We thought you were dead. I don't know what you thought of us, but can't be much better. We're gonna stand like... Yeah, we can be pissed at each other later, but can we appreciate this for just a second?
Fine.
It's about the most you response that I think I probably could have expected.
For the record, I'm not mad. I just have a job to do. And I'll figure stuff out.
I didn't think you were mad.
Good. I didn't think you... Like, it's like she's trying so hard to... You can tell that she's trying so hard to keep it together.
I'm alive.
Can I ask a
fine.
really stupid question?
You're going to?
Cool. Do you still have your leg?
Like, Casey will actually just laugh at that.
Really the only thing that's in my mind that's not emotional. So, I had to.
Don't talk about it.
I won't. To anyone other than you. And around other people.
It all stays between us. Like, I'm deeply curious, but better time, place.
Don't. I'm alive. That's what matters.
It is what matters. We're all alive. Against all odds, I guess.
And we gotta see each other again. And I think that's a lot more than any of us thought was ever gonna happen. I think Casey will just extend a hand.
I think Kit fidgets, like, at her collar for a minute. And then reaches out a hand.
Casey will squeeze it and say something very loud about the quality of the fortifications.
Is there anything that either you, Scriv, or Freeman want to do during this time?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I am with Zeke. I'm with my brother,
Okay.
helping him get settled.
Okay.
And very deliberately not seeking her out. I'm aware that they walked off. I'm not doing a damn thing about it.
I will say that after, like, I think Maze will probably leave Casey, and if Casey and Kit, unless Kit wants to stop talking, but, like, we'll probably just leave Casey to do whatever Casey wants to do and talk to Kit about whatever, and go back to doing my job, because I can't have a meaningful conversation about anything right now.
Yeah.
I'll clock that from a distance.
Yeah. Maisel has gone back to
Okay.
something that you have seen before, Gabby. Which is basically what she was doing when you first got to the university. Which is basically like moving around, talking to different people, and basically she's doing what I sort of imagine Gabby has sort of termed in her own head as she's doing her Maisel thing.
Yeah.
Which is where she is going around and talking to people and sort of trying to influence a situation just by being present with people.
Maisel mode.
Yeah.
Going Maisel mode.
Yep.
Yep.
It often happens.
And knowing what that means for Maisel's emotional state, that makes me angrier. Okay. This is fine. This is fine.
Frankie said he wasn't gonna go and leave the camp. Just kidding.
Don't you do it. No.
I think, like, Casey... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Frankie, no. Okay.
We can come back to that.
What was Casey gonna
God
do?
damn.
I was just gonna say, I think after, like, Maisel leaves, Casey is gonna watch her go and see a lot of the same things that Gabby is seeing, and then look past over at Gabby and just be like, and is gonna walk over there.
Yep.
I'll head back towards James then.
Real quick for me, Bree, because I have a feeling that this is what you want to be doing anyway. Go ahead and give me your scout roll.
Yay! Tell me about the people here and what their vibes are.
Okay.
I want to know who the people are.
How much stress do I have?
I think currently I'm gonna go ahead and say none because you basically because you had the stress, and then I think you've done like basically what needed to happen in order to clear it. Anyway, so like you had it. It didn't affect anything,
Anchors.
and then you cleared it.
Both of my anchors.
Can I request stress?
For yourself?
Can I add stress to myself?
Yes, absolutely. You can do that.
Cool.
I'm not
making-
marking Casey's stress off.
I'm making all of my friends stressed by being put together for now.
Yeah. All right. Go
I
ahead
won't
and
be.
give me that.
Alright. Scout, and I also have a walkie-talkie. No, I'm kidding. That's not for this. That's only for leadership.
You're so official.
I'm so official. I've got a walkie-talkie. You may use Scout to... Okay, great. Sweet. So that's 6. Okay. Two successes.
Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, as far as the group goes, their stories, what they have told you, what they're willing to tell you, their stories and their general attitude and demeanor is remarkably. You see a lot of similarities to your own group. They aren't good people. They're not bad people. They're just people trying to survive. Just like your group. A thing that you clock as interesting is that from their story, they had a pretty similar experience to yours, where they were part of a larger group that basically was overrun. Their haven was overrun about 2 months ago. And
Okay.
actually, it probably would have been a little bit more than that. It would have been a little bit more than that. And they wandered for a while before learning about this place.
Okay.
What I will say is that as far as the group, this group, like their main issue with if we're going game mechanics, their issue
Yeah.
is basically that they are low on supplies,
Okay.
and seemingly are in very much the same state as your group. But I believe your thing also includes secret issues, and
does.
with that extra success, I'm going to give you this group's
Secrets.
secret issue, which is that this group's secret issue is that they are emotionally hanging on by a thread.
Oh my God.
And that thread is James.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Oh.
Hang like into despair, into like just in general, just like
Yeah.
into despair. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like they have been through a lot of shit, and the only reason they have gotten through it is because of James. Every single person that you talk to speaks very highly of James, and is like, basically they like say some variation of the like, he's basically the only reason we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
They have followed him through, like, in some cases, almost literal hellfire. Like, they have followed him through a lot. And he's gotten them through it all.
Cool. All right. Sweet. Good to know.
Yeah.
And I'll just say that I'm totally fine. Like I'm totally fine with just laying the cards on the table. Like our haven fell like 5 days ago. We just like less than 24 hours escaped a raid camp, basically, and are now here. Like big events like that, of like why we have come here.
Yeah.
Is sort of a
Yeah.
that's on the table as well.
You get from them basically that they came from a little ways. Their haven was a ways east of Denver, and
Okay.
that basically they, very similar story to yours. They had a place, they had it set up, and then one day a horde came. They were surrounded, and the next thing they knew, maybe a wall was breached or something, but suddenly they were inside.
So they also had no idea how it happened.
Most of them, anybody who you talk to, like, there's no definitive answer. What you do know is that at some point the wall did fall. Some people you talk to said that their walls fell before the dead were inside. Some people say that definitely fell after the dead were inside. So there's no like
Okay.
definitive, clear answer.
Okay.
But yeah. Either way, what is clear is that the destruction was so like complete that it was hard. It really didn't matter one way or the other whether it happened before or after they were there. There were certainly it's clear from their description there were certainly enough of them that just from sheer body weight alone they could have brought the walls down.
Got it.
So
Interesting. Okay.
but yeah, they basically the ones that got away basically were able to travel over land for a while, hoping to find any pockets of safety anywhere near in the vicinity of Denver. What they found was the exact opposite of that. The whole city is just absolutely overrun. It's bad. They found no other survivors in that vicinity other than nobody. You actually don't find anybody who will talk about it. explicitly, but from the implications that you get, they ran into a group of cannibals. From the implications of what you were of what you've got. Although, but none of them will talk about it directly. They all seem pretty reluctant to revisit those particular experiences. But yeah, they came across one of the members of their group currently was formerly a member of the this kind of prepper death cult, and who had gotten out long before all of this had happened. So like, but knew about the bunker, and when they met up on the road, was in the process of trying to reach it, and they decided to go together.
Okay.
So, yeah. That's pretty much what you get from them.
Cool.
Do you ask any questions at all about Kit?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I could tell that that was Kit did not want us to mention, did not want to talk about it, did not want so I'm just my personal emotional is completely not part of my priority.
Fair enough. Okay. I think I'll add, though, because it is sort of a part of their story that you would get even passively, that James had apparently heard rumors of somebody who was able to get places other people can't. And they sought her out explicitly so that they could, so she could help them get to this bunker. Because the former member of this cult in the group knew that most likely this bunker would be overrun, given the group's the cult's belief that when the end times came, when their deaths would actually be their salvation from the whole thing. And knowing now what you all know about how people turn, they all quite literally drank the Kool-Aid, and now that bunker is filled with what's left of them. So,
and just a quick reminder, how do people turn?
Just any death. Everybody's already infected, basically.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Yep. Yes. So everyone's already infected. A death will cause, they will reanimate after death of any kind. Bites and scratches are lethal, typically. So.
Typically.
Yeah. Yes.
Typically.
Well,
usually, often.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Mainly what I meant by that is that rapid intervention has been found to prevent that, but it usually results in amputation or surgical removal of infected tissue. So yeah.
Hence why I was like, do you have your leg?
Yes. And I think it's fair to assume that by this point, you've all had experiences with that and know about that already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Casey especially.
Yes. Casey's probably had to cut away infected tissue before. Unfortunately, that particular individual is one of the casualties at the Haven, or presumed casualties. Anyway, that's pretty much what you get from your sort of poking around and talking to people.
Okay, sweet.
So, as you all finish this kind of thing, you kind of use sort of between Anita and Camilla, they managed to sort of figure out what supplies are left and with that, manage to put together, sort of combining some rations and stuff like that, are able to kind of combine some food for the evening. So most of it supplemented by James's group, because Valerie is apparently a pretty accomplished hunter and had done some of that, spent most of the day doing that while Kit was scouting. So
Yeah, I was gonna say we only had 13 rations.
yeah, so most of it is pretty much, so there's basically like a venison stew that basically is made here. So
A hot meal. Is Frankie back yet?
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Well, you went off and you said like we'll get to that later.
I was thinking about doing
I kind of want to
something-
know.
I thought
Yeah.
about doing something silly.
What were
I
you
don't know
doing
if I
out there in
should.
the woods, Frankie?
I was just gonna go scout and do some scouting in the woods and go for a long scouting trip myself. I don't know if it's worth it though. 'cause it's-
actually, yeah, go ahead and give me a scout roll.
We can tick off the "Did you explore a new sector?"
Yay!
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Raymond's,
But also, yeah. Okay. Scout roll.
Raymond's out here farming XP for us while we're
I don't
having
have it.
breakdowns.
Gotta keep the XP. Gotta keep the XP flowing. Do I have the binoculars? I think I gave them back to Gabby actually, so I don't think I do.
I mean, we can say you took them.
Yeah.
Maybe you asked for them when we were walking up with the bus or something. I don't know.
I'd say it's fair to, yeah, if you...
Yeah.
Gabby hasn't
We share
explicitly
them.
said that she has them currently, so, like, I think it's fair that you have them. It's fair
And
to say.
stress.
I don't
Or have
think
we
so.
chilled out a little?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of chilling out at this point, but it's up to you whether you think situationally there should be stress involved, so...
Yeah, I'm stressed.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Did a lot of double. Okay, I got a single success.
Okay, yeah, you managed to kind of do a quick perimeter. You encounter a couple of shamblers as you're sort of doing sort of some scouting, but they are easily snuck up on and dispatched. They are just sort of wandering. At one point, you do find like a whole cluster of them that have like fallen into a like, basically like, where like a large tree has fallen and left just sort of like a big like imprint in the ground, and that where like, you know, weather has like eroded it or whatever, created like a just kind of like a muddy sinkhole pit. There's basically like, there's probably like 5 or 6 of them that you see just sort of in there, but they are like unable to get out. They like reach for you as you pass by, but they like are so stuck in like mud and it down in this hole. Even the ones that aren't very stuck are like, as they are like climbing up, they slide right back down.
How flammable is the surrounding area?
Pretty flammable. It's been a dry summer.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Is that barbecue? What's that smell?
But yeah, you sort of scout the immediate area, and it seems pretty clear, other than the as clear as anything really can be in these circumstances. So what I will say is, at the end of, you know, sort of milling about and talking to people, becoming familiar with each other, and a hot meal, James stands and says, "All right, everyone. So we've had most of us have had a pretty long day, some more than others, it seems." He says, "We've gotten a chance to know each other, and while there's still more to discuss, right now I think we all know each other well enough to be able to rest comfortably around each other. I recommend that we set this aside for now, get some rest, and talk about what we're going to do in the morning." Does that sound acceptable to you? He looks at you, Maisel.
Perfectly acceptable. I agree. We need rest.
All right. All right. Well, everyone, you all are welcome to share in the warmth of our fire, and he kind of smiles and says, "I'm not going to make you sleep on your bus if you don't want to."
Thank you.
He says, "We'll reconvene in the morning and talk about how to move forward from here. But for right now, I think I'm convinced that we can find a way to work together."
I concur. Happy to work with you in the future, James. And I just reach out a hand.
Yeah, he shakes your hand. All right, try to get some shut eye, everyone. Val, you taking watch? She nods. She goes, "Always." All right. Yeah, with that, people start kind of pulling out like sleeping bags and like bedrolls, things like that, and start setting up their spots.
Cool.
And I think this is a good time to take a break. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. And we are back, and I have still yet to fix the thing so that it automatically unmutes you guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
are we good now?
yeah, you're good
Hello.
now.
Hello.
Hello.
You're good now.
Does
Okay.
everyone have snacks?
When...
I want brownies
Damn a
now,
snack.
damn it.
I
Sorry.
know, right?
You a whole damn meal.
Thank you.
Anyway, when we left off, the groups the two different groups had their opportunity to meet each other, get to know each other a little bit, and sort of feel out each other's vibe and see if they could work together, and ultimately decided that they had, that they could. So at this point, I think I am going to, unless anybody has any objectives, then I'm going to cut to the next morning after everybody has, or perhaps not, had some rest.
Mhm.
So, one second, let me find what I'm looking for here. All right, so, as the morning comes, everybody is kind of getting ready. The early morning kind of autumn air is here, especially here in the mountains, is brisk and chilly. It's probably not going to be a particularly cold day, but it is a cold morning that serves as a bit of a harbinger for the cold and brutal winter that is on its way. Um, so, you all, after sort of having a bit of a bite to eat in the morning, um, James kind of gathers everybody around. He says, "Okay, it's it's time to talk strategy here." He kind of we have a limited amount of time to get ourselves set up in that bunker to clear it out, get ourselves settled, and who knows what we'll find in there other than the dead. So we might find ourselves with some problems, and we want to give ourselves plenty of time to deal with it before the winter comes. So he kind of looks over at you, Kit, and goes, "Farah, what'd you find yesterday?" So I think it's a good idea at this point to retroactively do a bit of a scout roll,
Okay.
Allison. So if you'll give me a scout roll here.
Cool. Let me check what I've. Okay, so that's that, and that's no, that's for stealth. Okay, cool. Um, that is no successes.
Okay. So then what I will tell you
Oh
from that
no.
is that you were able to get up to the bunker, and it's pretty clear that that the bunker itself, like, it was very obvious to you that it is in fact as they said, that it's overrun, but you couldn't get into it. You couldn't get into the bunker. There's sort of what appears to be an electronic lock that is itself, as far as you could tell, there's no power to it. So it basically is powered off, and also in a place where, like, in a lock position, which basically means that getting inside is going to be a whole fucking thing.
I'll look over
And
to Ronnie after that is said, unless you can say anything. Sorry.
oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say they sealed themselves in pretty well.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Maisel, as you
Yeah.
kind of look over to Ron, he and I was, I, without looking at it, I don't know what I can do, but I have some amount of technical expertise. I might. He kind of, like, thinks for a moment and then says, he kind of, like, glances over at the bus and then looks back over. He says, I might, depending on what kind of lock it is, I might be able to route power from the battery.
I was wondering if that was possible. That is our only source of power that we have here. And if there's anything else you need, just let us know.
He nods. Says it shouldn't take too much. It shouldn't drain the battery too much. So we should have plenty to continue using it once we. The difficult thing is. He shakes his head. Says, I would have to see the lock. It's not really my area of expertise. Mostly electronics is what I do, but I don't work with security systems or anything like that. But
In general, do these things stay locked when there's no power to them? Or once
Some
you unlock it, would it stay unlocked?
he says, it should stay unlocked once we get it open, if we can do that. He kind of
Because I'm
thinks
going to
for a
point to the
moment.
bus. That shit's going to be loud as hell.
He says
So,
we don't have to take the bus. We just need the battery.
just got to get it unlocked, get people away.
He says,
I'll take it from there.
if there's already no power to the lock and it's stuck in a locked position, there's no reason to assume it wouldn't do the same for staying unlocked. So we just have to get enough power into the electronic lock to disengage it, and then it should function. No,
I can fiddle with it. I've got some experience with that. And no offense to Ron, but I'm a bit quicker.
James sort of frowns. Says, "It's not a good sign, though. If there's no power to the door, it means there's probably no power anywhere else in the bunker."
No.
Or
We'd
it's
have
just
to-
shut off.
I mean, if it's nothing but the dead in there, there could still be generators, gas, crank, whatever, just not running. I mean, if there's nobody
So we
to
would
maintain
need to
them,
go in and find a generator.
Most likely.
Is that what it sounds like?
Seems like it. He says, from what I've been given to understand, most of the power that the reason the bunker was built here was to make use of hydroelectric power from the nearby lakes and rivers. So
hope they left some manuals around.
we can only hope. But that's more of a problem for once we actually get inside and can assess it. We can't plan for unknowns.
Yeah.
Getting inside is kind of why I'm here, right? So,
From what Gary over there said when he was part of this cult, there weren't more than maybe about 53 members. And that assuming they all got inside the bunker when this happened, which there's no guarantees of that. So we could be looking at anywhere from 53 on down.
not a
Something
problem.
else to consider is that gunfire's loud. And we know they're plenty far away, but if anybody's out looking for trouble today.
Hall just sort of says, if we can lure him out, the doorway will make a good choke point.
I was thinking the same thing.
Get as many of us
Might
as we can.
take some time, but it's a lot safer.
We get as many of them, as many of us as we can, surrounding that place, surrounding the door, with whatever hand weapons we can find, and just take them down. Anybody who doesn't have any kind of hand-to-hand weapon, maybe she kind of like looks over. Says, "Anybody attached to these picnic tables? We can strip them down, and make some portable barriers that we can use to hold them back."
I was thinking.
I could use some target practice.
I saw somebody had a bow.
That'd be Valerie. Kind of nods over to her, where she's just sort of standing. Currently in the process of like maintenance, doing maintenance on the bow, like having it unstrung and is like waxing the. And she kind of nods, says, "Got this."
We've got a spear and a shovel.
Yeah, we found a pretty good one a couple days back, and Casey will like take that, like unlash that from their belongings and hand that to somebody who's better at close combat than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's our fighters?
I
I think my close combat's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you put that
Yeah,
bow
my
in
close
Casey's
combat's
hands, she'll
alright.
be great with it. But
Nick is pretty good at it as well.
See?
Huh?
I'm okay.
How is
Nick
Nick
how is
doing
he?
these days?
Yeah, how is Nick?
Nick is, if we were to give him a condition, his condition is he is battered, which is to say he has 1 hit point of the total possible 3. So
Oh, buddy.
yeah,
Oh my
Well-
god.
It
Oh,
hasn't been that long.
that's a good point. He was probably, ooh, you know what? This is important, so I'm gonna do it. I'm going to find out because he would have had the broken condition when you picked him up. So I think that is a good point, and I need to roll for his.
the medical supplies that we found, would those be advanced medical supplies?
No,
A basic.
yeah, basic medical. What am I looking for? I'm looking for. Also, if somebody else has the book open, if you find it first, the injuries table. Oh, wait. I found something. Hold on. Hold on. Broken. Oh, broken NPCs. There's a specific section on that. That's fun. Let's see. Broken NPCs. GM decided NPC is broken. Okay. Okay, so when...
Page 69.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say nice.
As soon as a character they take 1 stress and must roll on the critical injury. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and do this then.
Not
Okay.
getting away easy.
So he is. Okay, cool. That's probably not true. Okay. So he had, and I think Casey would definitely have known this. He had a fracture. But he's like mostly, like it'll take some time to still like recover from that. But he's like, basically like he is functional. Like
Okay.
he would currently suffer no adverse effects, although he probably shouldn't do a
He
lot.
shouldn't.
But
No.
he's, yeah, in game mechanics terms, he is no longer suffering from the penalty that he would get from the fracture. So,
Great.
Okay.
but yeah, so Nick has good with close combat. Hall is good with is trained in force, but is not is more of a ranged combatant.
Yeah.
Which would make her actually pretty ideal for holding one of the barricades.
Yeah.
Let's see. Otherwise, yeah, you don't have a lot of other NPCs who are trained in close combat. Nick is
What
pretty much
about
the only
on-
one.
What about on the other side? What about the other?
They have a couple. James is one. And they've got about 3 others who are, yeah.
Is Frankie good at close combat?
More ranged
Okay.
for
That's what I
Frankie.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay at it, but I think I'm going to be doing other things.
I'm just gonna put Nick question mark.
I've got 6 for close combat, 7 for ranged, but I'll stick to close combat because it's like we.
What? what's Shaw?
Shaw is mostly ranged, and the thing that he's
Yeah.
primarily trained in is like his trained skill is endure. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool. Just checking.
Zeke can probably throw rocks.
that's probably true. Yeah.
He's been very slowly learning how to shoot, but we're not using guns. So he can at least like throw shit and distract and disorient them.
Yeah.
Maybe are there a couple of slingshots? Maybe then that's
Yeah. I'm sure
I'm-
he's got a slingshot of some sort.
I think it makes sense for Zeke to have one. I don't know that there's a whole lot of them in
Yeah.
the group, but
doesn't make sense that there would be. Yeah.
I do know that there are quite a few knives in the group that, with some tinkering, could be turned into spears, makeshift spears.
Get some zip ties.
Yeah.
If Zeke can stay, because I'm kind of thinking like this might be a good opportunity for Zeke to get some training in
Yeah.
from a comfortable distance with a long enough spear.
Mhm.
I will allow it.
Oh, you know what? Actually, this is a good opportunity for. This is a good opportunity for us to make use of the projects mechanic.
Oh, hey.
So,
Hey, let's do it.
let me find that real quick because I think there might be some that actually
What?
are relevant here.
If we
Hold
can
it.
start,
Let me
like,
click on it.
I'd like to somehow keep track of Zeke's training because
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
want him. I want him to become more capable and confident for
Yeah.
handling himself as he gets older.
So that actually
So I've
also
been
is
trying
one
to
of the
work with him a lot. That's been a thing.
yeah, that also itself can be one of the projects too. One of the projects you can take on is to like train some of the other
Yeah.
NPCs.
Yes,
So
please.
yeah.
Because he's been learning medicine with Casey. I asked him to like do a little bit of cardio training with Frankie, and he
Yeah.
can learn more like fighting types of things with me.
So just so that you know, in order to like train an NPC, it requires 1 month. In order to make them into an expert, it's 6 months. So that's yeah.
We've had lots of time. I imagine we've gotten at least a month in before, the fall.
Let's see. I'm looking at okay, gear projects.
Ooh, that's cool.
That is cool.
It says
Survival
several
axe.
axes, but I think we can sort of. I think it's probably similar with the spears. As far as requirements go for that, I don't think I would require the forge requirement because you already, especially if you already have a bunch of knives, you don't need to shape the metal. So, and you have material at hand. You're literally in a forest. So, all you need really is Tech 2, which it looks like you got, and I think it would take. Let's see, you got Workforce 1. You just need one person to do this, really. And I think because it's not you're just sort of doing a makeshift sort of spear situation, it probably is not going to take weeks like the axes would. It'd be a number of days probably. I'd say that makes sense to me. It'd be I think about 2 days, which would incorporate like finding good like wood to turn into spear hafts and like things like that, and then the actual like process of like doing that. It'd take you 2 days to do that, but you only need a workforce of 1. So, and actually, if you doubled the workforce, you could have the time. So I'd say a single day with a doubled workforce.
I'm absolutely looking for good wood in the woods.
Okay.
That was a sentence. Wow.
And Casey is happy to make some spears out of knives.
So does that mean Frankie found good wood in the woods?
I think
We went from the Walking Dead
Okay.
RPG to playing Minecraft.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
just hitting.
This is now a crafting sim.
Yeah.
Have you not
Welcome.
played the forest? I mean,
It is basically like, yeah, it is basically like the forest. Let's see. And so other projects you guys might want to undertake? Because you've got a decent workforce now. You have 21 people in
Barricades.
total.
Barricades.
Yeah.
And the lock.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the lock. Disassembling
Yeah.
the bus. And, well, not the whole bus, but taking the battery out and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
tinkering with the lock.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say. Oof. Okay.
Ooh.
Hmm?
Are we talking about like long-term projects while we're here and preparing? Or
Well, sort of like not necessarily long-term projects, but we're talking
not
about the kind
long-term?
of like
Prep for the bunker.
yeah,
Okay.
which means that like
Okay.
anywhere in we're looking at you probably don't want to be here. You probably want to be in the bunker within at least like a couple weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then you start cutting it real close with like the turn of the season. Um,
Mm.
but
Well,
yeah.
while we're doing this, can we send like somebody, like Ron and somebody else, who is good at somebody who's good at fighting, who could be a guard, up on the ridge to set up the radio transmitter to see if they can hear anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think yeah, Gabby, if you wanna do that, yeah, you
Yeah.
can go with
And in between training up Zeke and just helping little bits and bobs there, I can do that job.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's something. Hold on, I want to check on something real fast because I don't actually know. I sincerely doubt it, but what? Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm gonna allow collective skill here to sort of add up because for some of these things, like for instance, I think Tech 3 would be required for the lock. And John, you probably don't have Tech 3, right?
I've got Tech 2.
Right, and Ron has Tech 1, so like technically, like collectively, the two of you could probably make that happen.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it would. I think the two of us, with our powers combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um. So collectively, that'll take a number of. That'll take. I think it'll take about 2 days, which makes sense because you will need to go there, assess what you need, and then you need to make a couple of trips back and forth, and it's about a mile out. So like, there's back and forth
20
trekking that needs to happen.
I can
like a
escort.
20-25-minute walk.
Yeah.
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 I've been making the trek back and forth anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So. All right, and then, sorry, I'm looking at the. All right, I think. Does anybody else have? Actually, you know what? If you want to make. Yeah, defense barriers. I would. It's a 2-day kind of thing. Workforce of 5. You have the tools, you have the equipment, and you have Tech 1, so that's doable.
Okay.
So we basically, it sounds like we spend about 2 days preparing to open the bunker up and start dealing with it.
Yeah. Any other like projects that you all? I think Casey will not be able to do anything else at this point. In fact, I'm sort of skeptical. I think what you're going to be spending is more like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they spend a day building the spears and then
Yeah.
2 days dealing with the door because we need Tech 2 for the spears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need both
And-
of those for...
Yeah. That seems right.
Okay. Any
No
other
projects. I should talk to James at some point, though.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. I want to make sure that that the
what does the radio thing need? I mean, that's not an immediate thing, but just curious. I just have been
The
writing down
radio-
all of our
Yeah.
projects.
The radio wouldn't necessarily be a project because the radio
Okay.
is
Okay.
already the radio is ready. It just needs to be set up, and then like it just needs somebody sitting there like tuning it and testing it and seeing if it's working, kind of thing. And
Okay,
that's pretty
that
much
can
it.
be a downtime sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just guard.
I'll definitely
guess.
help get the battery out of the. If we're removing the battery from
Yeah,
vehicle.
and I think that's I think I'm considering that as part of the door
Okay, cool.
project. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. I want to make sure that we move the bus to the most like defensible
Yeah.
place.
I was actually going to ask about that because that's something that I'd like to do.
Sure.
I'd like for us to do anyway, or help. Because the bus needs to.
Oh, you cut out fully like that.
Oh, am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I was going to ask about. Like the bus needs to be moved.
I think
Oh,
Discord
you
is
cut out.
Yeah, Discord is like the
No.
threshold is set a little too high, and so it's like
Why? I didn't change any of my settings. They're all the same from last time. Okay. Do I need to say it again?
yeah.
The captions are picking me up.
Yeah. So, sorry. What? So, what is it that the bus wants?
Yeah, the bus needs to be moved and camouflaged.
Yes.
So
That is-
that's
that's a
something
good
that
project.
I'd like to kind of throw on our list.
So,
And that's something that probably doesn't require tech, hopefully, because I have 0 tech.
Yeah. So, in theory, something that you could do, is since the bus is already here, you could actually, especially since some of the tables are going to be taken apart for use in this project, you could move the bus so that it is a physical barrier, sort of
Perfect.
covering one of the like sides, where you like take the picnic tables away from to like do your shit.
That's what I was hoping to
yeah,
do. Is,
let's do
use
that, 'cause
as
we-
the bus as our wall.
We also wanted
Yeah.
to make fortifications, like additional fortifications to the bus anyway, so I think that could kind of go this.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you probably won't be able to make additional fortifications to the bus during this time.
Okay.
You definitely don't have the materials for that. But yeah. But at the very least, the bus can serve as a wall for now, and a sort of more sheltered part of your little encampment.
Yeah.
So yeah. And with the battery out, it's not going anywhere. So.
Nope.
Cool. Let's see. Yeah, then I think. So you've got about 3 days of work to accomplish here, using about a third of your total workforce right now. So, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, let me just look, because... So the barriers require Tech 1. So in theory, the same day that Casey is working on... one of the days that Casey is working on the spear... When Casey's working on the spears... One of those days, Ron can be working on helping with defense barriers. But that is an additional day, because it's 2 days for the defense barriers. So really what we're looking at is a total of 4 days.
Okay. That's fine.
That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless anybody else has Tech 1.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Unless any of our other NPCs have tech.
Let me look.
Would Kai or Hall or any of them have tech?
Let me look. I don't think so. Kai is a nurse, so
Yeah.
she's got
But Kai is a
medicine.
lot of things.
Kai is resourceful. Not
Kai and
necessarily
Hall
trained.
are very resourceful.
Yes, but you don't need a resourceful person right now. You need a trained person, is what you need. So,
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
no, I don't think you don't have any more in your group that are
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
should get tech, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've made like traps and random contraptions and stuff. Why do
Right.
neither of us have tech? Maybe that's why they always go wrong.
Oh, not wrong.
He's over here like,
I
no,
love-
no, 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 red wire, not blue wire.
I love
Chaos, bros.
I love that the only survivor, Professor Raincastle, doesn't have any skills.
Yeah.
He has
At
no
least-
skills.
He does have skills. They're just none of the skills that are available in this game mechanically to make a difference.
How
I
old?
appreciate that everyone has extremely useful NPC anchors except Casey, who was like, "This is my useless little warbo who thinks about weird floaty philosophy things, and I will die for that."
He's
what were you
just
asking,
here
Scrib?
for a good time.
Scrib, what were you asking?
At what point, since so we can whether we can talk about it offline as well, but maybe retroactively or kind of capturing some of it over the days. If I've been training up Zeke, at what point does he get stats?
Right. So
Or can we show improvement in them?
I think that at this point,
I'm curious. I'm always curious about like NPC progression.
Yeah, there is a page. I just went
So,
across it and
your
lost it.
in order to train him, your skill has to be 2+. In order to
Okay.
make him an expert, your skill would have to be 4+. In something.
Okay.
So like, so if you want to have trained him in something, you've been with him for a long enough time that I think.
Yeah.
I
So
think technically you've been with
my
him for a long enough time that you could have met the requirements for expert, but I don't think I'm going to allow more than trained.
not expert, not at
So,
13.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
my skills that meet that criteria are close combat, mobility, and ranged combat.
Okay. Yeah, and he's already trained
those
in
three.
stealth, so that's
Yeah. My stealth is a 5, close combat is 6, mobility is 6, ranged combat 7.
okay. So I'd say go ahead and choose one of those, and we can add it to Zeke's. Training
Okay,
skills.
let's go ahead and do. He's already got stealth. Let's go ahead and do ranged combat because that's what I think he's gonna
Okay.
throw on rocks and doing slingshot stuff.
Okay,
Maybe I don't know about spear, but yeah.
No,
Um,
let's keep him at ranged. I'd feel more comfortable
Yeah.
having him at ranged.
Same.
all right. Let me go ahead and put that here.
One step at a time, little bro. And he still has his grenade too. So
Which
Not
ranged
to be
combat,
used in
that's
this
exactly
situation.
That's what you
that
do.
fits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Then I think we're sort of having figured out some of the logistics of this stuff. We can talk a little bit more later on about the actual mechanics of this, but we probably aren't going to get to that in this session, so we can talk about it offline for that. For the purposes of today, however, I think Kit, there's a moment where James sort of, you can see that you find him when he's basically like looking over. He's looking at the map that Frankie gave him, that they've been using, and also his own map. And they're sort of making like, basically coordinating the maps, sort of like things that like Frankie has noted on the map that he doesn't have on his. He's like and vice versa. So that's kind of where you find James.
There's a big X over Salida.
Yep.
Is he like on one of the picnic tables or something?
Yeah.
Right now, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like got both maps spread open on the picnic tables and was like making comparisons between them. He glances up as you come over. He goes, "Good. I'm glad you're here." He kind of like looks up at you again and says, "You look like you've got something on your mind."
I'm gonna make my way around the table and kind of sit on the bench opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I told you that shit. She's just gonna reach in her pocket, pull out the like battered, like broken walkie, and kind of drop it on top of the maps. Told you about that, right?
A little. Yeah.
What do you think of the new people?
Ah. You know, it says, well, from what time I've spent talking with them, well, they seem about as close to good people as you can find nowadays. Let me take a wild stab here and say that you all knew each other before, at some point.
I don't want any problems. That's why I'm trying to be honest with you.
I appreciate it, and truth be told, I was hoping that you'd come to me first about it. He nods, says, "Don't worry. Look, we've." He kind of like sets down the pen that he's using to mark up the maps and just kind of looks at you. Says, "Look, we've all got shit in our past, and we've all been through a lot of shit. I don't expect anyone to tell me everything right away, especially when it's not relevant, which up until last night it wasn't."
Right. But it is now, so you can call me Kit.
Kit. It suits you better than Farah. He says, and says, I heard Maisel and the others say it a couple times last night. Says, who were they to you?
Family.
He nods.
Long time ago.
Well, then I'm glad we found them. Glad they found us.
Took them long enough.
He kind of looks at you at that and says, I take it from their reactions they didn't know you were alive.
Didn't bother checking, did they?
No, but think of how many people we've lost to get here. How many of them have we gone back for? To check. We don't always have the luxury of being sure in this new life. I know I don't. I haven't. I can't let myself think about it. There's so many people that might be alive. That might still be around. People I don't know what happened to them, and if I let myself think about that, then I can't do what I need to do here and now. It's worth thinking about. It's none of my business. I don't know them, and I barely know you. Still, you might consider cutting them some slack. Or don't. Maybe I'm way off. Like I said, I don't know anything about the situation, so. What I do know is that we've all been through a lot.
At least it wasn't for nothing.
He kind of frowns at that and then answers, but it's pretty clear he is not responding to the thing that you were talking about. And he says, well, that's the hope. If they can get that door open, then, and we can clear the inside, then we stand a very good chance of being able to survive this winter and possibly more. It's a good area. I had Valerie take a look. It's well defended. It says the natural defenses of the mountains and ridges around keep most out. It'll certainly break up any hordes that try to come this way. Not that they would anyway, as it's pretty isolated.
Yeah. Just tell me when you need me to go in. I'm gonna like stand up, but I'm like still standing between the bench and the table.
Mm-hmm. Something else?
I just don't want any problems.
Well, you don't have to worry about that from me. Or any of ours.
I don't think you have to worry about that from them either.
Good.
At least the ones I know. If I know them. We'll see.
This world has a way of changing people. Something that you and I know better than most.
You have no fucking idea. I'm just gonna step over the bench and walk away.
Alright. Anybody else have anything else that they want to do right now? No?
I think that Casey would want to talk to Gabby.
Okay.
I think probably, in between trips to the bunker, the second or third day. I assume Maisel is still in Maisel mode.
Yes. I will say that depending on if you, I don't know where we're sleeping specifically, but you know that Maisel has like a diary or whatever, and that's it. It is unusually not hidden and is like thrown to the side in wherever we're sleeping. And but other than that, nothing. Maisel's unresponsive in leader mode, having to get shit done.
Look at those breadcrumbs just laid out.
You can't just tempt me like that.
The cheese is in the trap.
The question is, will you wait for the second mouse? Will you wait to be the second mouse?
You know what? I'm gonna roll about that.
Okay.
Go for it.
Roll about that. I'm just gonna make a straight empathy roll here.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're gonna see what the results of that come out as, and I'm gonna roll a stress die.
Fair enough. I think that's completely fair. Yeah.
You see the
Casey-
diary and stress.
Oh no.
Okay, like just walking by Maisel's things and seeing it in disarray and her diary just out in the open, Casey's like, I'm not going to read that. Or, that's really unusual.
Unless.
That is a whopping 0 successes on that roll. And so I think
Does that mean you give in?
I think that means that Casey's impulse control does not win out here.
All right. Cool.
And I think that Casey picks it up with the intention of tucking it back into Maisel's things. Probably on the way to talk to Gabby, but I think she probably will glance over her shoulder and then will flip open to the most recent page with writing in it and just glance at what's written there.
The most recent page that is written is have you ever read through have you ever Casey, have you ever looked in this book before? Question mark.
Only what I think Maisel has shown her.
Okay. So a lot it's less of like a specific diary like today I did this and more just like it's a book of lists. And the most recent pages are like lists of like rations and like plans and stuff like that. But the like what is you'll notice that like on like the back of some of these pages, like they're like you know how when you like really like scribble something in and it's like rough on the other side? You'll notice that that's the case towards like the front of the book. And the very first page is a really big scribble over a very short name. And is written Farah, and then crosses that out, and then writes what does it matter, and then looks like it was tossed after that. And a lot of the other lists you see are like rations and stuff, but are also just names.
I assume names of people that we've lost.
Yeah. It's just pages and pages of names.
Yeah, and it's worth noting there weren't nearly enough people in the Haven for it to take up that many pages. So I think what Casey finds is that you just find the same list repeated over and over again on different pages.
Yeah. Like, of, like, the same day, same list. Like, there is one from, like, years ago when, like, the first, like, thing happened of, like, the, when a bunch of people died and Maisel had to, like, take charge or whatever. Mm-hmm. She'll have all of those lists, all of the list of all of those people's names down, as many names as she can remember from the very, very first Haven where, like, we got evac'd to. And it, like, just names on names on names. And the very first name was Kit's, and that's been scratched out. Like, heavily.
Mm-hmm. I think Casey sees that and sees a lot of what she has been very afraid of laid out before her.
Yeah.
And I think she snaps it shut and like, well, if there's a latch or a tie, we'll wrap that around it and then we'll tuck it back in among Maisel's things. And then I think that Casey is going to go and cry.
And I think I sort of feel like that might be a decent button to end on here.
I know we didn't do a like Dearly Departed letter at the beginning, but I do have a list if you want me to read it out.
Oh,
I
God.
think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like the
God.
most recent list. Is October 1st, 2025. Laura Herschel, Soda Adelia, Casey Joanne, Luella Baker, Thad Daughtry, Monty Edwards, Justin Mayer, Olivia Randolph, Roxy Costa, Lieutenant Curtis Jimenez, Leslie Mahoney, Owen Casey, Duffy Summers, August Tran, Ethel Mercer, Gary Johnson, Alexis Moore, Odessa Ball, Colin Santana. There's so many. I wrote a lot of these. Colin Santana, Valerie Hubbard, Nathaniel Yatesy, Iva Morales, Dr. Travis, Judith Snow, Todd Barton, Sonia Watson, Kay Ortega, Bill Ross, Rebecca Rush, Isabel Dawson, Anita Neal, Marina Esperanza, Noreen O'Connell, Mitch Rice, Billy Bikes Levine, Esther Gray, Cole Adkins, Teresa Norton, Tracy Wolf, Vincent McCall, Gabriella Flowers, Ivory Hess, Peter Costa, Janice Harrison, James Compton, Antonia Hensley, Spencer Cooley, Gretchen Day, Roland Gardner, Granny Holt. I'm sorry.
And I think that's where we will pick up next time.
Yay!
All right.
Rip.
Well.
Yep. That was 50 names.
And that was from the most recent fall, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Before we go, I would like to do experience.
All right, let's do it.
So, let's see. Question 1. Did you participate in the session? I think everybody gets one.
I
right.
sure did.
Did you achieve something important? I think yes. You not only did you come to an agreement with the other group, but you also came up with a plan and set it in motion. So I think that counts as accomplishing something important. Did you learn something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
Big
Nothing.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Big time.
Yes, we did.
Did you explore at least one new sector on the travel map? I think the answer is yes this time.
Yes,
Actually,
we
thanks to
did.
Frankie.
I got you.
Did your drive, your issue, or any of your relationships make an impact on the session? I think
Yes.
the answer is definitively yes across the
I
board.
got a new one thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Kit quite literally
Yeah.
giving Maisel issues.
Nothing
I
fucking
can't
matters
believe I
anymore.
not only broke you emotionally, but also mechanically.
Yeah.
Goodness.
All right. And then I think the answer to this last question is yes, Bree. I'm going to count that as a dearly departed monologue.
Yay.
I want you to roll a double low. So roll 2 d6s and take the lowest one, and that's how many additional XP you specifically get.
The lowest one is 3.
Okay, so you get an additional 3. So, and then I'll ask this, but would anybody, our next recording session isn't for a while, but would anybody like to do a dearly departed monologue for next time?
Yeah.
I've done. Okay.
Yeah, Scrib? Okay.
Yeah. I've
Okay.
got some ideas now.
Sounds good. All right, so you personally have a bit of time to work on that.
I've got time.
You've got time. All right, so
Nothing but time.
we'll begin the next session with that. Holy shit! Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Joining us tonight on this very emotionally charged episode of Tomorrow is Dead.
I'm just very proud of myself now. That's the reaction I wanted. I'm glad. I'm good. I'm happy.
Of all of the things that could have broken Casey, I think it was seeing that. Like
Yep.
she wasn't doing great.
Hold on.
She was
I got
holding it together.
one more thing to do
Oh,
before
yeah?
the end of this. Hey, John.
Yeah.
I need Casey to roll to handle her fear.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's good.
what was the fear again? You want to share with the class?
In this case, it is in response to seeing their anchor broken. like
Yep.
emotionally shattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's
Um,
good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Let's
Casey,
all review
Casey,
our
I want to
fate.
point out that Casey has a talent called "Seen It All," which is that I don't take stress from seeing people like wounded or tormented or physically broken. Like Casey's pretty level. That
Hmm.
that did it. What am I rolling?
So you're rolling either wits or empathy. um, add +2 for each anchor who is still alive and on your side. For the purposes of this, because Maisel is the object of this, I'm not going to allow you to count Maisel in that.
I will count Dr. Castle.
Yep.
Um,
So yeah.
I'm rolling empathy. Or
And you
I'm
don't.
going
You
to
do
roll.
not add stress dice to this. So
Okay. That is a single success.
then Casey has successfully handled her fear.
Whew.
All right.
Good job.
I think then on that note, it's time to go. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight on this episode. We are going to go. Thank you so much. We will see you. I'm not exactly sure how the airing schedule breaks down. So I'll just say we'll see you next time.
Next
But
time.
if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone.
Bye.
Bye.